Welcome to episode number 2 of the Venezia Takeover. Today we're going to start off with a match against Genoa, but before that, I'm actually going to introduce you to some new staff members, which will be key for us going forward in this series to help with our philosophy, and a couple of future transfers that might be potentially happen. Now, this video is sponsored by Royal CD Keys. Pick yourself up a brand new game or a Windows 11 key using my link down below in the description for a special discount. Yes, we're here, 16th of April 2022, so we've got a little bit left of the season to go, but I thought I'd bring you back for this Genoa game because they're kind of a team that I reckon will give us a good game, but I fancy our chances against. Now, staff-wise, I mentioned we have brought in some new staff members. That is definitely the case. We've brought in a couple of new scouts, in fact 3 I think. We've got rid of a couple, and we've brought in a few just because the standard of scouting was awful here. So we've got this guy here from Brazil. He looks absolutely fantastic. Neil McGuinness is another one that we've brought in, a lot of 15s there. They did not have very good scouting ability, but I think the best signing that we made staff-wise is this man, Sebastian Pate, something like that. Now, I would suggest if whoever you are, really, if you don't have a good head of youth development at the start of the game, check out this guy because he is fantastic for a head of youth development. 20 work with youngsters, 18 player ability and 19 player potential, and he's got a perfectionist personality, and that kind of means that the players that he will be bringing in should be very similar to that. We'll see, because eventually I do want to build up, of course, our facilities so that we do start bringing in great players through the youth system. That will obviously help us in the fact that we probably won't be getting a lot of money along the way. Now, speaking of money, we do not have a lot of transfer budget, but I have brought in a couple of players. Now, one deal that is already over the line is 22-year-old Enrico Del Prato. Of course, 23 is our age limit. This guy, 22, just scrapes in. He's going to be a good squad player because next season we lose our right back. He goes back to Benfica on loan. Enrico Del Prato comes in as an Italian right back that I think will fit in that role. He's not better than probably what we've got at right back, but I definitely think for what we are building right now, he's good enough. And he probably will develop a little bit more with some game time because I don't think he's been played a lot. I mean, Serie B he has, but other than that, he hasn't been played a lot this season. Now, a deal that I'm trying to get over the line, which does look like it could be happening, Giorgio Scalvini, one of the best Wonderkids, I'd say, at centre-back in the game at Atalanta, and it looks like we could be bringing him here to Venezia. So I'm really happy with that because he would be a starting centre-back at the age of 18. I'm more than happy to do that. Like, I do not care. People who've watched Youth to Goals in the past, that does not stop me. Age, if they're good enough, they're old enough, in my opinion. He comes in with some fantastic attributes, and I know, of course, from doing the videos beforehand, that he has great mental attributes as well. So jump and reach, of course, is fantastic. They've got a good amount of pace. I like his determination. His position is fantastic as well, and good technicals. 18 years of age, and we're picking him up potentially for a very cheap cost of around about £4 million in total after some installments. Now, of course, we've played some games since we had that Atalanta game in the last episode yesterday. 0-0 draw was the result, of course, but we really felt like we were hard done by. Now, we've only won 2 games since. We've been on such a torrent run. It's been awful. I don't understand how we're not in the relegation zone. We've picked up 2 draws against Hellas Verona, Udinese, 3 draws, and Roma, which is a big one there. But the only 2 wins was both 1-0 wins. We are really struggling to score goals. Defensively, I think we've been okay because a lot of these were 1-0 losses, other than an 8-0 loss to Lazio, which I don't quite know what happened. I mean, Ciro Immobile is a fantastic player. Lazio a very good team. But 8-0, that just came out of nowhere and really started shaking the boat because then, of course, we were on a very bad run before we actually picked up any points or any wins. A 1-0 against Sassuolo and a 1-0 against Spezia. Now, of course, the tactic that we are playing relies on us to have those forward runs from midfield. Here we are conceding against Tammy Abraham. He's a bit of a beast in the air. Busio is playing that Mazzala in attack role, and we can see that he is finding himself in the box for a knockdown here to volley it in. He's getting himself in there in those advanced roles, which does beg the question as why we're not scoring as many goals, because this is again how we've been playing. I've managed, I made sure we secured the deep line playmaker in there, because I found every time that we was not securing him in, he'd end up in the centre midfield role. But I want him there for those direct passes. I think he's the best deep line playmaker that's good at direct passing that we have in the team. I think we should be okay towards the end of the season, because we have Genoa today who are 19th. We're sat in 14th place on 31 points. Our start of the season obviously helped us out a lot, but we are 8 points away from that relegation zone. That is our main aim, to avoid that relegation zone. So let's see how we go in today's game. So we take a look at this. I'm going to quick pick it just to show you what they suggest. And of course, here we go. Already, our deep line playmaker has been taken out of the game. I don't want that to happen. Now, what I failed to mention at the start there, we've got a couple of outs, including 2 of our goalkeepers. Sergio Romero only stays for 1 season. He's moving to Al Jazeera. He's on a very high wage, and of course, I don't really want to sign him on a permanent or for another year, sorry, because he is like 34. So, in my opinion, if we're looking at my way of playing this, my philosophy, if you will, of 23 years of age or younger, I shouldn't really be extending his deal. Not to say that I won't be extending deals if they are older, but that just goes completely against the philosophy. One of the downsides, of course, is Mattia Caldara, a guy that we've got in on loan, who is obviously our best centre-back. He has an option to buy in his contract clause, for £3.4 million, which I obviously cannot activate because he's 27. Downsides of this philosophy, but it's what makes this save a little bit more fun, a little bit more tricky than what any other normal save would be. Any other time you just say, yes, let's do it, we bring him in. Of course, we've got Scalvini coming in, so it's not too bad of a problem for us next season. I don't think they're going to be giving us a lot of money though, but this is the start 11 that we're going to be rocking with. It's very similar to the game that we played against Atalanta in yesterday's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, I'm recording this a lot earlier before it was released, so I really hope that you guys jumped on board. If you can smash like button on it, that would be brilliant, because it really does help new series get pushed in the YouTube algorithm. Of course, it's the first time I'm doing a series like this, about 18 months, maybe even 2 years. So Genoa, bit of a tricky team. They've got a few good players, but they are finding themselves in that relegation zone. I would like to think we can do well here in this game and score some goals. I would like that. Andrea Pirlo, of course, is their manager. They've got Destro, who used to be a bit of a problem. Rovella, who was a Wonderkid last year, I think on loan from Juve, but we're on a lot better form than them. They've lost 5 in a row. At least we've won 2 out of the starting 5 that we have here, but we are the away team, and I do think that does make a big difference in these types of games. Hopefully, in the future though, the type of player we'll be bringing in where they enjoy better matches, do enjoy important matches, maybe they're a little bit more consistent, their determination's a bit better. With that philosophy, hopefully we'll have a little bit more luck, but here we go. So the first highlight of the day, they're playing very Italian formation with like a 3 at the back, 2 up top style, and they are 3 on goal. Sergio Romero is another good save. We might miss him next season because I don't think we've got a lot of money to replace him. We do have a goalkeeper at the club. He's nowhere near as good. Rovella with a corner, whips it to the back post, but we've headed it clear. Okay, 20 minutes gone. Sirigu has picked up the ball. Another one of those Italian goalkeepers who was fantastic in years gone by has kind of dropped off the pace. Caicedo brings it down beautifully. Sergio Romero again has had to make a big save. Hanani Jr. there cannot capitalise on that. Wow. Right, okay, so their defence is doing quite well. Sergio Romero and Kyan has been our best player, but we're not producing many chances. Noteworthy chances anyway. We've had 3 shots the same as them. Not very good XG. We've got a better XG, but we've had no highlights. This could be our highlight. Arami's picked it up on that right-hand side. Cuts inside. There's Cayenne, the box-to-box. Back to our right-back. Now, we're very high at the pitch here. Busio, he might... That's a lovely ball. Johnson, come on! Dennis Johnson. He went off injured in the last game, if you remember rightly, but this time, he's in the highlights with a great goal. Fantastic goal, in fact. And that lovely little ball from the Mazzala Busio. I need to turn replays on. That's a big mistake. I think we have a dangerous free kick here. I'm not quite sure who our free kick taker is. It is Aramu. Has a pop. Oh, he's hit the outside of the post. It's unlucky. Now, this would be a wonderful 3 points to bag in April for sure. With only a few games left. Busio, that's unlucky. Our goal, of course, this season was to avoid relegation, but it was also to get the second round of the cup, which we did do. So from that side of things, from the board side of things, we've done our job. But of course, the long-term project is a bigger one. Forte is an unlucky... Was he onside? That's a bad miss, in fact, then. I thought that was just going to be unlucky offside. It was great play. Another fantastic ball there from our midfield. Those deadly through balls. Busio is definitely a player that I think might stick around for a long time. The American. I'm going to show you him right now because Gianluca Busio, 19 years of age, he has a very good potential on this game. Value, I mean, the only thing is, with his valuation at that much, it could be the case that we cash in if somebody comes in for him so that we can reinvest because, like I mentioned, we do not have a lot of money at all. I might need to start working on some player traits for him. I do think I might have started that. I didn't. Maybe he's failed to do it. But yeah, this could be a guy that sticks with us for a long period of time, depending on how long the series is. Of course, the series does not end until we win that Champions League. That guy could be a manager or even retired or even worse, like 60 by the time we do that. But hey, I hope you're still watching at that point anyway, because we'll be in for a long ride. Now, we were much better in the second half of that first half, but this second half, it's been very quiet. But I've noticed statistically, we're starting to dominate the game. We've had a lot more shots and 60% possession. It's not really in our nature to have a lot of possession. The tactic is kind of... Because we're not counter-attacking, I guess in a way it kind of makes sense. But I've noticed in the other games we haven't been dominating possession. And that is so annoying. We've been caught on the break. Destro. I don't know why I was talking like I just felt like it wasn't going to happen. Because of course it was very Route 1. I felt like the ball was going to be played around a little bit before we'd see... Obviously, such a direct ball. But, I mean, who is that's lost the header there? Saccaroni. It's very poor from him because he's gone across and headed the ball when that was Caldara's man. I don't understand why he's gone to try and stop that. And it's cost us because that is such a poor goal to concede. Caldara needs to sort him out. But that could be a problem for us in the future. He's pumped the ball long there as well. When we're asking to play short, remember, in our tactic, and he's gone long. If we concede again... I mean, I'm going to be having a word with him. We've conceded again. We've conceded again. I'm going to be having a word with him. Either way, Pietro, because that is not good enough. Why is he just giving the ball away there? So wasteful. And even then, like, he didn't catch his man up. It's so poor. It's gone right across the box. It's such an annoying goal to concede. Such an annoying goal to concede. They scored 2 in so quick succession. I'm gutted about that. Okay, we're going to really push for it now. So we've got gut stuck in on. We've gone much higher line of engagement and defensive line. So we're trying to push them further up the pitch as possible because I think they will naturally sit back anyway with a 2-1 lead quite late on. I've gone to counter as well because, of course, we want those quick attacks now. We're not going to try and build up the attacks like we were previously, which, of course, I felt like worked in that first half. I'm not going to distribute it straight away to Forte, who is very capable of winning the ball in the air. I still think we need to build up from the back, but I've also changed a few roles. And in possession, we're going for the overlaps. We're going extremely high tempo and hitting those early crosses in, passing into space, and attacking a little bit more wide. So a lot of instructions that have changed, including a few subs as well. So Aramu's coming off. He's had a very poor game, 6.3. And Abu, Goddard, Tyrone. I mean, how am I supposed to pronounce that? No idea. Mazzocchi has come on at right back, and he is a very attacking right back, by the way. Like, defensively, he's not got it at all. But attacking-wise, he's great. So I've changed his role to complete wing back, the same as Haps on the left-hand side. And we're going to try and get some crosses in and exploit those flanks, because I don't think we've done that enough, especially with how good Forte is in the air. He's very good. It might be his forte. That's a poor joke, I'm sorry. All right, one last roll of the dice. We're sticking Henry up top as well. We've taken off Busio, who is struggling. He's having a good game, but still he's struggling fitness-wise. We're going to up top, a 4-2-2 to try and claw this one back and at least try and salvage a point, which will be vital in the grand scheme of things in league table-wise. But here we go. So we're still building up with short passes because else we're just giving the ball away too often, in my opinion. Haps, that's a lovely ball. Oh, Sirigu has picked it up. What is he going to do with it, though? He's played it long. Could definitely do with... I mean, it does look like they're still pushing men forward. Forte's played up the top. It's a bad pass again into the hands of Sirigu. This highlight is annoying me. Sirigu plays it long once again. Caldara's headed it. He's won that one. It's another ball over the top. Can we capitalise? Here we go. That's Mazzocchi. He's all over that. He's crossed it in. There's Forte. And he's headed it over. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. It's a half chance, isn't it? It's not a good chance. It is a half chance. It's just unfortunate for us. I'm so annoyed with our centre-back for costing us those 2 goals. We've been completely dominant in that the second half of the first half. in the first half of the second half until they scored their goals. It's full time. It's a game lost that I really feel like we should have won. Very disappointing there. Now, according to this, Pietro got a 6.6 rating in that. I would argue he was worse than that, so I'm going to try and warn him for his recent form, or his last game, in fact, and just say you weren't good enough defensively. I agree, I'm disappointed. That's good. So at least he feels exactly the same through this. Now, we've got a little bit of a tricky end of season, but of course, we're going to simulate that, and I'll see you in a second to see how we do. Right then, we're back at the end of the season. Now, because, spoiler alert, we didn't get relegated, an automatic transfer was made, Sofian Kian. £2.1 million, because we didn't get relegated, already done. Does go against our philosophy of 24 years of age, but I couldn't really do much about it. We avoided relegation, is an automatic thing. But the Scalvini deal is done and dusted, so I'm more than happy for that. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because he's actually a quality player that we've been using quite a lot this season. 21 games he's appeared in, not done that well, but still. So towards the end of the season then, after that loss we had against Genoa, we followed it up with a 1-0 win against Torino, a good win as well, Mattia Aramu. But after that, a 3-1, a 2-1, a 2-1, and a 2-1 loss. But they were difficult games. Cagliari and Empoli, really the only two games which should have been winnable. We didn't do that, unfortunately. Napoli beat us 2-1 after we took an early lead, and Atalanta beat us 2-1. Again, I really felt like we should have won that match in yesterday's episode. So it meant that we finished in 15th place this season with 34 points. Ciro Immobile is a cheat code. Dusan Vlahovic is even really good as well. We know that. This is ridiculous. But Inter Milan have won the league by a country mile as well. 92 points, 14 points ahead of Roma. So even though Ciro Immobile scored 38, Lazio down in 7th position. We avoided the drop by about 5 points, but Sampdoria going down. Did not see that coming. Really didn't. There's a few teams around us that I'm very shocked managed to avoid the drop. So a little bit of statistical then. We can see the most goals this season. We haven't even got a player that scored double figures this season. This needs to be addressed next season. Whether it's the tactic, whether it's the type of player that we are using, it really does need to be addressed, because we cannot survive very often from doing that. Now, money-wise, they're not going to give us anything. So the only way we're going to make any money for transfers is if we actually sell a couple of players, because financially, we don't really have it. The original budget we've used on Scalvini, which I think is definitely needed because we can't bring back Caldera. In regards to how the board see us, they're giving us a B, so there's no, they're not worried about us being sacked. We're not being worried about being sacked or anything. They're disappointed we're not playing defensive football, but we're not, obviously, we don't really care about that. Everything else we passed with flying colours, I must say. But a very underwhelming season in regards to how we perform. But it's going to be like that at the start. It is going to be like that. So, I mean, we're in for a bit of a tricky pre-season, I would say, before tomorrow's episode. Because I really don't know whether we're going to start to sell some players, whether it's a case of we're just going to have to change around the tactic, because not a lot of our players are wanted. Whether or not we cash in on our big names or our most valuable players, which is really only Busio and Henry. And Henry is only worth £6 million. Busio is the only player that we have, because Impadu is, of course, Chelsea's player, that is worth anything. He's kind of like the only player that I would expect us to keep. So Scalvini comes in, he joins that conversation as well. But yeah, I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section, please. I hope you enjoyed this second episode. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on if you can. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Bye-bye.